well enough? Let me know if it's, yeah, sound good? Yep, okay, no worries. Let me know if it does get quiet and I'll, actually I might. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for coming along. And first thing I'd like to do, given that I think I'm sort of heading towards the last of the presenters, is just say a huge thanks to the iMoot organising team. I noticed a couple of new names here with Mark and Meg doing the hosting. I don't think I've met you folks before, and I'm assuming that Julian's just gone and passed out somewhere under a table. So I hope you've thrown a blanket over him or something just to keep him warm while he sleeps for the next couple of days. And I'm guessing that probably Shane's in a similar mood as well. So yeah, just
yes,
a big thank you to the organisers, because it really has been yeah, it's been a really well run session this year. Okay, I'll switch over into presentation mode. Yeah, okay, I won't mention about Julian's jokes, but yeah, I admire his efforts. All right, so today I am going to give a run through of the new Moodle assignment tool, and it's going to be a half and half presentation. So half of it's going to be telling the story about how we got to where we are, and a little bit of sharing of experience about what it's been like to do some significant work on core code and working with Moodle headquarters. And the other part of it will be actually showing the new assignment module, giving a bit of a walkthrough of it, showing you the upgrade tool as well, and just answering some questions. Now, who saw Martin's keynote yesterday? Yep, Teresa, Richard. Did he give much of a walkthrough of the assignment module? I know I missed it. I know he talked about it, but I'm not sure whether he did much of a functional demonstration of it. Not really in great detail. Brief, yeah, most. I know it kind of got swamped by some of the other very good things. Okay, well, I'll give you a bit more of a detailed overview, and I'll also tell you the things that we've still got on our to-do list for it. Now, could I just check that you should be seeing a slide at the moment, Moodle Assignments to the Next Generation, and hopefully when I scroll, you'll get to see a picture of me smiling. No worries. Good stuff. Okay. So for those of you who I don't know, and recognise a couple of names in the audience, but and by the way, Mary, lovely to have you in the room. Thanks for staying up, and yeah, feel free to hop off and go to bed at any point. I won't take it personally. I've been not up in bed. Okay, well, try and stay awake for a bit then. I'll go as quick as I can. So I've been using Moodle almost daily, really, since 2007, and at the moment I'm the director of the consulting team at NetSpot, who are an Australian-based Moodle partner, and we're a Moodle partner that does a lot of work with, in particular, universities, but we also do we've got a lot of TAFE clients, which is our technical and further education colleges here in Australia, and we do some work with schools as well. And a little bit with corporate organisations, but a lot of the work we do is with universities, and that's where this story kind of originates. If people haven't seen my blog before, then there's a link to it there, and you can follow me on Twitter as well. And this whole story really started off with a number of our Moodle using university clients here in Australia and in New Zealand. Now, we don't actually support Massey University on that list, but we're sort of doing some work with them now because of this project. So that group of universities, we were supporting about 4 of those 6 universities we're directly supporting at the moment in running their Moodle site. And one common thread amongst this group of universities was that the assignment module was a good start, But because of the size of these organisations, they found that in terms of, in particular, administrative things, it really had some significant shortcomings that they needed. So these universities were dealing with first year classes of, several hundreds heading on towards the 1,000 students mark. And I'm not sure how many if any of you have used the assignment module for very large classes of students, but it could really use some enhancement around some of the administrative functions that go on in it. So this group of universities got together and off their own bat formed a consortium, and they worked together on a great big wish list of commonly desired improvements for the assignment module. So that was fantastic to see them all getting together, sort of working out that there was a lot of commonality between the kinds of things that they wanted improving within the assignment module, and to at least get a wish list together. Now this is where NetSpot came in. So our relationship with most of those universities was already there, and we had one of the universities, Flinders University, which is based right here in South Australia, where NetSpot and where I'm located, had a specific need that they said last year. They said before we roll Moodle out at the beginning of 2012, we absolutely must have a subset of those changes. So there was about 4 or 5 changes that they said we absolutely must have to meet our university policy. So things like a statement of authenticity. So students checking a box before they submitted to say, yes, this is my own work. I realise that if I'm plagiarising, I'm going to get 0, etc., etc. It was a policy thing that they said we need to have it. So they funded some development work for us to come up with this shorter list of enhancements and to run in their own Moodle site. So we did the development work, and we fixed up their immediate need, which that was good. We were helping Flinders. Flinders were happy, and we could see that these were good changes. But then we thought, well, this is nice, but why can't we contribute these changes back into core Moodle? Because we would like to give it back to all of our university clients, and we'd like to give it back to everyone else as well. But at that point is where we hit a fairly significant stop sign, when we went and had a chat with Martin about the potential to get these changes back in the code. And the conversation went something along the lines of me going to Martin and saying, hey, these changes are really cool. Can we get them back into the assignment module, please? And sadly, Martin raining on my parade straight away, saying, no, the assignment module it's way old. It's been slated for a rewrite for a long time. Every bit of code that we shove in there now is making it more difficult to upgrade to the way we want to have it in reality moving forward. So that wasn't particularly good to hear. So then I just thought, okay, well, what about if we said that as a part of the deal, we would do that sort of baseline rewrite of the assignment module and get it up to a state where you're happy with it? And Martin said, sure, yeah, so long as you do it in a way which is going to meet the standards and expectations of headquarters, in the same way that any of their internal developers would do the work. And like a fool, I said, yeah, sure, why not? How hard could it be? Famous last words in some ways, but it was something that we looked at and said, well, this would be something that we would like to contribute back to the Moodle community. It'll help Moodle, it'll help our clients, and it's just an all-round good thing if we could do it. So what we ended up doing was to say, well, we're dealing with 3 different sets of changes here. And the first ones are the foundational changes. And the foundational changes in the assignment module are the ones which aren't adding any new functionality to the assignment. But what they are doing is making it more consistent, So Martin probably would have mentioned in his keynote yesterday that one of the goals was to get rid of the 4 different subtypes, or 5 or 6 or however many different ones you've got installed, and just have one assignment module. There was a bunch of cleanup that so the refactoring was more around the code itself, so that internal rework of the code. I think getting rid of these subtypes, Martin always looked at as a very hacky way of adding new assignment types in there, because it was sort of adding new subtypes in there was kind of hacking around with the module rather than doing what we should be doing in Moodle, which is just building another separate plugin and saying, okay, let's just, rather than hacking at one plugin, we make a completely separate plugin and then plug that into Moodle. So I think ditching those subtypes was really important. Getting in there and doing just a general cleanup of the code overall, and also opening up the assignment module to web services calls. Now, for those of you who haven't come across web services before, or don't know what they are, these are interface points into the assignment or into any piece of code that can be accessed from an external system very easily. So Moodle's mobile app, the iPhone or iOS app that currently runs, that relies on the web services that are within Moodle to be able to connect into Moodle to get the information in and out. So having web services built into the assignment module was really important as something that's going to open up the assignment module for connection to other tools later on, which I'll come back to. The second level of changes were the enhancements. So on the big wish list, there are a bunch of them. There were some common ones within the Moodle community, and it was really about making the assignment module better and fixing up some of the long-standing things in the community that people wanted to have done in the assignment, but had always been blocked by the fact that the assignment was old and in need of a rewrite. And the final ones that we threw in there were these things that we called the Flinders changes. So the ones that we had already made for Flinders University and that we wanted to get in there that we were already using and we knew that were good. So the options that we were faced with were really to say, in particular with the Flinders ones, was to say either abandon the changes, which we couldn't do because we knew that our Flinders University wanted them and everybody else wanted them. We could have maintained a fork of the assignment module. So we could have run our own NetSpot version of the assignment module and just use that. Now we didn't really want to do that because it's not sharing it back to the community. It ends up causing headaches when eventually the assignment module does get rewritten and then we're sort of running something in parallel that people don't need. And there's just a number of reasons for us not really wanting to do that forking process, and it's just not the way we want to go within the Moodle community. So the final one there was just to say, okay, we need to bite the bullet and we need to update that core assignment module. And at this point was when the consortium of universities also got together and put in a bid for some innovation funding money. Now, for those of you who haven't heard of the NetSpot Innovation Fund, it is a grant funding program that we ran last year and we may be running again this year, I'm not sure, that aims to take something in Moodle that has already been started and give it some funding to make it work better, so to continue its development. And the consortium, they put in a bid for it, they won some innovation funding, and that then gave us the ability to make the decision that, yep, okay, let's upgrade the assignment module. So with the roadmap being, okay, let's start off with the implementation of those foundational changes that we know were the Martin changes, effectively. That also included things like the migration path, so making sure that not only was the new assignment module working, but that people could have a nice smooth migration path from the old assignment module. And then once we'd done those foundational changes, then okay, we'd start to hit the enhancements, and the enhancements were driven by that consortium's wish list. We went to the tracker and looked at some of the popular tracker items, and also just went to our client community and said, well, we're in this position, what kinds of things do you want? And this all started really at the beginning of this year was when we started these discussions. We had a period sort of from mid-Jan through till the initial code freeze around May, sort of late April, I think, where headquarters sort of said, nope, that's as much new code as you're getting in. Then throughout May, so that this month has basically been all integration and refinement. So the Moodle headquarters guys taking our code and saying, okay, how do we then integrate this into the real Moodle, and does it meet with our standards, and is it all good in the lead up for the 2.3 release, which is happening in June. And going forward now, we're also now starting to talk about what's missed out on Moodle 2.3 and what are we going to get in Moodle 2.4. So the result is the new assignment module, which has got the first batch of enhancements, and it's not scheduled. It is absolutely rock solid in there, and Martin's been doing the demos of it, and people have been testing it. And you can get more detail if you want to go into the more nerdy, detailed stuff. Then go to the tracker there. MDL 26997 will have all of the different documentation on it, or links to the different components of it. But enough with the PowerPoint. You folks didn't come here, you're not staying up late to listen to me prattle on for the whole time, so let's get in and do a demonstration. Just give me one moment while I set up my screen sharing. Okay, now can I get a confirmation that you can see an Assignment 2.3 demonstration site? And this is where I am flying blind, so thanks to, I really like Adobe Connect, but I don't like how it minimizes the window when you go to present, and then it's a real struggle to work out whether you're actually seeing anything. And I can't see or hear, and I'm not sure if I've got a presenter in the room.
Yes, I'm here, Mark.
Yeah, is that? I'm not seeing any comments pop up because I'm in full screen presenter mode now.
Right. Okay. Yes. Yes. It's perfectly fine. Everyone's confirmed that they can also see it.
Okay, cool. No worries. The comments aren't popping up this time like they were when I was doing this the other day. That's okay. Maybe the room facilitator, if you can, if there's anything that you need to stop me for, or any questions that come up, then just jump in, because I can't see the chat window now, and I'll answer questions.
Yeah. Right.
Cool. Thank you. So what we're looking at here is a Moodle course. I've set it on a very plain looking theme at the moment, so apologies for that. It's just to make it quicker on the screen sharing. So what you'll see now in here, and I'll just I'll leave those ones in there. Under the add an activity, now you'll also notice that this isn't running the latest 2.3 because it hasn't got the single add a resource or activity pop-up, but it's the same deal. So now, in addition to the old assignments, which are still there, just left on for the moment, we've also got add a assignment singular. And if I add the assignment, that is adding in one of the new ones. So you'll see some things in here which are very similar, and some which are a bit different. So I'll call this one assignment 2. And let's say in this one I would like to students must write 1,000 words in the online text area, upload 2 files, and and click Send for Marking. So if this was something that I was doing with the old assignment module, then I'd be in a little bit of trouble here because, okay, I need to upload some files and I need to click Send for Marking, so that's okay because that's advanced file upload. But also having some online text in there, well, I could kind of use notes, but that's not really what it's intended for. So this would be a little bit of a tricky one if I wanted to do this in the old assignment module. So I'll set this up in the new one. And you can see here that there's a button here now, an option here to say require students click submit. So this is a replacement for the old send for marking in the advanced assignment module, advanced file upload module. So the rest of it there is looking fairly consistent with what you would have had in the old one, until we get down here to these new submission settings. Now the submission settings let me pick and choose as many different ones of these as I wanted. So right now, if I left both the online text and the file submissions switched off, this would give me the equivalent of an offline assignment type in the old assignment module. So in this one, I do want an online text area, and I also want to have some file submissions. So I'll switch them on and I'll say, yep, I want 2 files. I'll leave it at the course upload limit because I'm not going to do anything with it. I can also allow comments from a student as well. So if a student, so this is a replacement for the old notes in the old assignment module. And I can also determine whether I want to switch on feedback comments or feedback files. So maybe, yes, I do want to have my markers giving comments, but no, I don't really want them to give back any feedback from the file in file format. Now down here, I've got the same old around what's the maximum mark. You'll notice here as well, it does work with either rubric grading or the simple direct grading, and will work with the new grading forms feature as well. So that the assignment module just plugs into whatever grading methods there are available. And the rest of it is very similar to what it was. So if I save and return to course now, then what we should see is, okay, so there's an assignment 2 there. I've set that up very quickly and very easily. Something else that's new now, it also now shows not only the due date, but it also shows how long remaining, and that will show to students as well to show them how long they've got before the assignment's due. And now if I need to change this, so another big advantage of the way that this is working now is if I change my mind and now actually, I just want to pull this back and say, no, it's now just an online assignment, I don't want them to do any files, then very easy for me to go back in, edit the settings for the assignment, and say, actually, no, I just want to change that now. I don't want any files to be there with it. And then go back and save it, and now I've changed it. So whereas previously with the old assignment module, the only way that I could have done that was by deleting the assignment and recreating a new one, because I can't change the assignment subtype in the old way. Now I've got much more flexibility in being able to change it around, use whatever combination of assignments that or assignment settings that I would like. So this is all foundational change stuff that's being shown at the moment. Another thing in here is what happens with my old assignments. So you'll see here that I've got an old assignment that's been set up. So this is using the previous assignment tool. And you'll see here that I've got a link now to view the assignment upgrade tool. Now, if I view this, then it shows me, okay, here's my list. Now this is actually me logged in as a site administrator. So I'm in there with some fairly hefty permissions, but you can see here that I can pick one or all of these to upgrade. So I'll just do that one that I was dealing with just then, which was the the old assignment type. So I click on upgrade and actually cross my fingers, given that I haven't actually tried this on this site before. Hey, and I broke it. And that's what happens when I'm running an older version of the site. It'll be interesting. I won't do it now, but I could go across and have a try of that on the qa.moodle.net site, which is running the latest stable code, which is in core. So. And what that would have done then, if I hadn't managed to kill it, would have then upgraded the old assignment into a new assignment type. So this is just an internal what we call a crash and burn instance that we're running here. So it will work better on qa.moodle.net, and obviously when it gets into the final release next month. So I will. I'll stop that chat. I'll stop that sharing now, and I'll come back to here. And yeah, Teresa, sorry, the comments weren't showing in a pop-up this time like they were last time. I'm not quite sure what's gone wrong there. So I'll go back and I'll get into that into the presentation again, and just give a bit of an overview of where to from here, and just a bit of reflection on the realities of getting these things into core. So the first thing that we found was, is it easy to get code like this and a fairly significant chunk of code into core? Absolutely not. There was a cycle there of us doing the coding, giving it to headquarters reviewing it, giving us feedback, and then us going back and analysing the changes that they'd said. And this didn't just happen once, this happened numerous times, where headquarters would give us the fixes that we need to make. We'd say, cool, that means we fix these and it's in. We'd fix those, we'd send it back, and then headquarters would say, well, that's good, but now here's another bunch of stuff that we found that we didn't work out, or that we didn't tell you the first time or last time, or whatever. So it really was quite it is a significantly rigorous exercise getting anything into core, which was painful for us to go through, but at the same time it's very comforting to sort of see the level of rigor that there is within the Moodle headquarters team to make sure that any code that gets into core really is very high quality. So where does this leave us now? We're here looking at the future of Moodle now, and we're seeing in the assignment module some pretty amazing opportunities that are now starting to appear to us. So I'll point out a few of the ones that we have actually already coded. So I was hoping to show you these, but I can't show you them because that crash and burn instance we had has been crashed and burned. So with the different changes that we managed to get into Moodle Core, there was all the foundational changes. There's a couple of small things that are improvements that we got in there, but there's another bunch which we have already developed. They're there with headquarters, but because of the lateness, we've missed the boat in terms of being able to get them in. So some of those things that we've already developed them, it just needs to be integrated, which will make it 2.4 unless we can come up with a sort of interim release or something. Individual time extensions, team assignments, blind marking, and this thing called the authenticity statement. Now, to show you just a couple of screenshots and explain what those ones are. Individual time extensions. I'll take a punt that most of the people in the session here, if you've used Moodle and you've been running an assignment and you want to give just one student in the class a time extension for a week or however long, then you're in a bit of trouble. You either use send for marking and then you sort of revert it back student by student, or you set up a different assignment type, which a new assignment which is just for the latecomers, but there's no really easy way. So you'll see that on this view there's a little clock that's been shown, and by clicking on that clock for that student, Katina, then that allows the teacher to grant an extension just for that student. So flick that on, pick a time, and it allows the due date for that student to be extended out, and shows a nice warning as well on the assignment overview screen that says, "Yep, this student has been given an extension." So that one, I think, is one of the highest voted for changes in the tracker for the assignment, and that one's coded and ready to go. It's waiting review from headquarters. Another one that is coded and is waiting for review at headquarters is what we're calling team assignments. So this is the ability for a teacher to set up groups and then to allocate assignments out to the different groups. Say to students, only one student needs to submit, one student, any student, and then when the teacher is marking, then giving the ability for the marker to say, yep, all right, we'll just push that same bit of that same grade and the same feedback to everyone in the team. So finally gives a solution to what is probably the number 2 most requested or voted thing for assignments in the Moodle tracker. So that one there, again, that's coded. It's waiting for review. Real shame we missed 2.3 for it, but at least the work has been done to get it to that point. And the final one to point out that we've already coded that's ready to go is the what we're calling blind or anonymous marking. So if you're in a situation where you would like your markers to be marking student work but you don't want them to know who the student is, then there is a setting in the assignment that says, yep, make this blind, and the teacher is not shown the names of any of the students. They just we just grab a random number and say, yep, participant this, participant that. That number doesn't relate to anything to do with their student ID either. It's just a randomly generated number. And vice versa, you can also have it that you can have double blind marking, so that the teacher doesn't know who they're marking and the student doesn't know who has marked their work. So it can be configured to go both ways. So can be a very useful thing if you want to keep some anonymity in the grading if you've got multiple markers working. So those are 3 changes which, as soon as the smoke is cleared from 2.3, we'll be talking to Martin to say how early can we get these things integrated into Moodle Core and ready to roll out for 2.4. And moving forward, we're looking, again, as soon as the smoke is cleared from 2.3, we'll be back going out to that, initially to that consortium of unis, but also looking around to any other clients or any other users out in the community who can put some funding in to be able to do some of these additional bits of work that we've got sort of lined up now. First one is web services, so more web services enabling mobile access and external marking management systems. So there are tools out there which are designed to integrate with Moodle that do, quite frankly, a much better job of the marking management process. So Lightwork is one from New Zealand, which from Massey University, which tends to get a lot of play. And another one is Remarks PDF, which is one that's been built here in Australia. And one of the funny things was me sort of being the sort of business sponsor for this work. The number of marking management systems that came out of the woodwork all wanting to be my friend all at the one time when we said, yeah, we're doing a rework of the assignment module and we're going to be putting web services in there was very interesting just to know that it's something that there's several different groups that are all working on marking management systems, and by us building web services into the assignment module, it means that all of those systems can plug system X into it, suck the assignments out, run them through a very nice marking administration system, do markup for things like PDF markup on documents, and then push those back through the web services into Moodle to get sent out to students. Cover sheets is another very commonly requested one, to say students, some universities in particular, say all students must complete a cover sheet. To me, it kind of seems a bit daft, but that's what people want. So that's okay. Gareth, question there. The plagiarism detection like Turnitin, we have already implemented the same API that is in the old assignment module into the new one. So that is all there. What we can't say though is that there's actually two different Turnitin integrations. There's the one that runs through Moodle's API, and there's the one that the Turnitin guys went off and developed by themselves. Now, we've tried to engage with them unsuccessfessly about their integration. And yeah, I don't know that. Well, that's a very good question, Richard. It'd be lovely to know that they are. I know that yeah, we haven't had much luck getting them to sort of give us much information about what they're doing. In particular, given that just about all of our university clients now use Turnitin. So, having said that, I'm not that close to it, so more things hopefully have happened in the meantime. But certainly the old API-based integration that Dan Marsden from Catalyst did for the assignment module in Moodle 2 is most definitely there in this new assignment module, and will connect up externally. Self and peer assessments. So one of the other things that that we looked at in the assignment, we look at the workshop module, and the workshop module is a fantastic, really hardcore piece of peer assessment functionality, and the work David Mudrak did on that is just fantastic. I love using it, love showing it to people, but it is a very complex tool to use in terms of setting it up and getting it working. What we wanted to do as well, and what our clients wanted, was can we have just a very simple way of doing self or peer assessment in the assignment module itself. So nowhere near as clever as what the workshop does, where it uses a whole lot of mathematics to sort of balance things out. But just being able to say, yep, what's a simple way that we can do within the assignment module. And I'll just finish off this slide and then I'll come back to a couple of questions. Multiple markers was another one. So being able to say, I want two of my markers to mark every assignment. So being able to more easily set that up and then have averages of the markings. And better support for offline marking, so being able to have a better way. At the moment, you can do a zip and download of all of the assignments, take them away, and then you can do an import back into the gradebook, but it's a bit clunky, and we think there's, well, we've already been working on designing a much better way of doing that, which allows you to download the assignments, download a mark sheet with it, work on the mark sheet, and then push that back up and get that sent back through the activity module, so have it all stored in the activity module. So those are some of the things that we are now looking at for future development, and we're sure that there's going to be a whole heap of things that are going to come up. And the plus is now that we're over this hump of not being able to do anything because of the module needing a rewrite. Now going back to a couple of questions, Richard, yep. Now Don Hinkleman actually mentioned that to me when he was in my session last week, and it is on my list of things to have a look at to see, because yep, that self-peer assessment is something that we'd be keen to have a look at and just see whether there's anything that that he'd be up for contributing. I think that the biggest roadblock, which makes it sound bad, but it's a reality, is doing it in a way which is going to fit with the architecture that Moodle headquarters are comfortable with. So that's something that we certainly learn, that whatever we do, if I learn nothing else about contributing code into Moodle Core, it is engage with headquarters early and talk to them about how you're thinking about doing anything before going away and cutting any code. I think the worst mistake you can make trying to get anything into Core is to go away, do a whole bunch of coding, and then bring it to Martin and say, "Ta-da! Can we please have this?" So yeah, absolutely agree with you, Richard, and it's definitely on my list to have a look at it just to see what it's like. And now I missed this. Is the new setup assignments easy to extend? Now I think this is one where it was a conscious decision of Martin's working with us to say that what he doesn't want is a situation like the old subtypes, where people could go in, hack with the actual module itself by adding in more subtypes, and then have the module like that. I think the aim of this one is far more to say, okay, if you want a different assignment that's going to do something something unusual that's going to hook into a different system, don't go in and hack the assignment module by adding in a subtype to it. Get a copy of the assignment module, go off, do whatever you'd like with it to make it into a new plugin, and release that as a separate plugin. So the answer is it easy to extend? It's probably not going to be as easy to extend as the old 4 subtypes module, but that was one of the things that Martin actually wanted to have in there as a design principle, to say no, he didn't want it something that was going to be as hackable as the old one. Now that one there is a better one to get into the tracker and ask. So I'll definitely put my hand on my heart now and say, as a coder, I make a very good business analyst. So the development team that worked on this, I was more very much on the functional and business ownership side and trying to keep everything going. But Damien Wise was the lead developer from NetSpot who worked on this. I'd jump into the tracker. I'll flash up again the tracker item, and you could ask the questions from a more technical perspective in there. And there are plenty of discussions as well in the Moodle.org forums about this too. So for further details, having just said that, there again is the link to the documentation for the 2.3 assignment type. The tracker item there has links off to all of the other subcomponents of the task, and including, I think it has links off to all the new stuff that we're hoping on doing. You can try it out now. qa.moodle.net has the latest stable integrated code, and including the upgrade assignment path that will work, not like the one that I managed to break. And final thing, just to say a special thanks in this project to Damien Wise, who was the lead developer from NetSpot, Mintam Nguyen, who did a whole heap of the design and specification work on what it would look like, Vic Herrera, who was the project manager, kicking all of our butts to make sure we kept getting everything right, Raymond Wajaya, who was a support developer for Damo as well, Greta Wilkinson, lovely lady from Flinders Uni, who sort of herded all of the cats for the consortium to make sure that everything kept on heading the right direction. Sam Hemmelrick in particular from Moodle headquarters, who was very patient in giving us lots of feedback and lots of support around the things that we needed to consider and change and work on in the assignment module to get it accepted into core. And all of the other consortium members from those different unis I flashed up, and the NetSpot Innovation Fund as well for putting up the money to make it go from a dream to a reality. So at that point, I'll wrap it up. I'll throw back over to questions. So I'll put it back into the lobby view. And yeah, if anyone's got questions, then I guess either put your hand up or just type them into the text area. And if not, people haven't got any questions. Well, quiet group today compared to the other one. Okay, cool. Thanks, Richard. Well, look, if you okay, a couple of people typing. If you do have any questions or thoughts, then by all means pop into the Moodle.org community forums or into the tracker. Get into the tracker and watch some of those subtasks if you're interested on seeing how they progress. and get in there and make sure. What my next, for those of you who read my blog, my next blog post is going to be a bit of an evangelism about the Moodle Tracker and some guidelines about getting started and why using the Moodle Tracker is a really good thing, no matter whether you're technical or not technical. It's just a really good place to keep track of what's going on in Moodle and sort of see which things are coming up, which things are sort of having some debate, and getting in there and having your voice heard. So cool. Okay, well, thank you very much for the comments, folks. Yep, I'm very excited. Oh yeah, sorry, Gareth. Yep. And yeah, in terms of a quick integration into Core, it was a quick integration, but that there was a huge amount of effort in there, working really closely with Martin. Okay, question: Can I have side C? Okay, I don't know what a side C is. Can you have marker comments? Yes, you can still have marker comments. Everything that was there in the Moodle 2.2 assignment in terms of functionality should be there in Moodle 2.3. That was one of the non-negotiables that Martin said to us, that whatever was there in 2.2 should be there in 2.3. So in line next to the words of student. That one I haven't tested. I'd hop on qa.moodle.net, and if it's not there, then pop something in the tracker. And yep, quick grading is one that we all actually missed. And yeah, it is getting fixed. That was one that we missed until very late. It was yeah, we all sort of about 2 weeks ago stopped, and someone said, hey, it was Gavin Henrik that said, hey, where's quick grading? It was like, oh, how did we all miss that, including Martin? So it was a bit of a forehead slap all round, and then we got in there. Cool. All right. Well, I'll say thank you again very much for showing up. Thanks again to the sponsors, to Mark and Meg for being the host for this, and Pukunui as well for sponsoring it. It's been a great event, and if any of you are in Australia or coming to Australia for the Moot, then for the Australian Moot, that's happening July 1st to the 4th, come up and say hi if you see me there. And if not, then I'll see you around the virtual world. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Just on behalf of Pukunui, it's been great having you here, and your presentations have always been very informative. I myself have even learnt a few things or two about the new assignment. So thanks a lot.